Hi, everybody. Welcome to another Prog Report podcast interview. This is Roy. My guest on this episode is Asger Mygind, lead singer and guitarist for the band Vola. They have a new album out now called Friend of a Phantom. Daniel and I had a chance to talk to Asger about the new album, the band's tour, and everything else going on with the band. But before we get started, just a reminder to subscribe to our YouTube channel, wherever you get your podcasts, follow us on all our socials and progreport.com, and check out our new progressive rock playlist on Spotify for music from Vola and many other great bands. And now our chat with Asger Mygind of Vola. Well, thanks for doing this on a Saturday, man. Appreciate it. And we are big fans.
Yeah, truly.
Dan and I, it's all we talk about is Vola, Vola, Vola.
Thanks for doing this.
Yeah, so you're on tour right now, right? Where are you guys about?
We're in Nottingham.
Cool.
Yeah, in Great Britain.
Nice.
Awesome.
Yeah.
How's the tour been going?
It's been going really well. I think there's a lot of new songs on the set list. So like in the beginning of the tour, it's always about making those songs comfortable. Like even though we have practiced them a lot beforehand, it's there's this period of just making them comfortable to play live.
Right.
Like when the live factor kicks in with the like sweaty hands and nerves and all that.
Right.
We were discussing your set list the other day because Roy sent me a screenshot of what you guys were playing. And it's a really good set, right? It's really balanced, but a lot of the new album, right?
Yeah, that was.
Is it pretty much the whole thing? Is it only missing Trey? Is that it?
It's what we've been playing up until now is 7 songs from the album. Yeah, it was definitely difficult to make this set list, having 4 albums out now.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's harder.
So,
But it's really cool that you guys are now big enough to do these big headlining shows. So now you can play a lot of material, which is nice. You know, a lot of bands don't get to do that. We have a bunch of questions, and we always go off track with these interviews. But I did have a question that just came to me because I've been wanting to ask this. Previous tours, you've also done this, where you start off kind of with a slower tune, right?
Yeah.
24 Light Years maybe, or on this tour, at least the first couple of shows I've seen online, you started with I Don't Know How We Got Here, and then you go into the heavier stuff. What's the thinking behind that? Why do you guys do that?
Well, we try to build like this curve, try to tell a story with our songs live, and we feel like it makes the heavier songs have more of an impact if they come a bit later, so that we can have a build up to them.
Right.
Like if we just like light all the fireworks in the beginning, there isn't much headroom left. So it
I
gives us
like
this
it. I
ability
think it's I think it's a cool approach. You know,
yeah,
yeah, it's different for sure.
Yeah.
and it's also like it starts very introvert, and then we become more and more extrovert, and
Right.
more and more energetic. Yeah, it seems to work quite well. So we'll continue doing it, I think.
Well, we're talking about the new album, your fourth album, as you said, Friend of a Phantom, which came out a few weeks ago. And, you know, it's easily been one of our favorite albums of the year. And I think man,
It
it's
is my
really hard
favorite.
because I like all your records pretty much equally, but it's hard not to think of it as the best one. Is that,
Wow, thanks.
do you have a favorite among the albums? Or is it like the newest one is the favorite one, kind of?
It's a good question. Well, I feel like when we had made the previous album, Witness, that would be hard to top, because like both songwriting wise and production wise, yeah, and mix master wise, it was just my dream album in a way. And that also made it difficult to start writing this album, I think,
Right.
because we had gotten so much out of our system that we like wanted to present to the world, and yeah, where do you go after that? But eventually, I came to the realization that maybe it's not about making a better album, but just making something it's just as good. And
Right.
I feel like we did that with the Friend of a Phantom. So, but yeah, I don't know where it is on my personal ranking. I'll,
we
I would like to introduce a question because in the past we have done like top five songs by a band,
yeah,
and our original idea for this interview was maybe doing that with you, and so we would find out your top five songs by Vola.
yeah, yeah,
And so I'm curious. I mean, maybe you don't know in the back of your head, but maybe your top three or something. What are your
yeah.
favorites generally?
Um, well, I'm very fond of Head Mounted Sideways, for example,
Hmm.
and I love it on the album, and I love to play it live
Hmm.
because it has this slow tempo that's actually quite of relaxing on stage, and like the guitar work isn't that busy. So
right.
even though it contains a good amount of energy, I think it still gives me a moment to breathe actually on stage. But yeah, it's I really love the vocoder in the verse, and I like playing the heavy riff in the end. So it feels like
That's cool.
a journey to play that song.
Yeah, I love that
Um,
one.
and yeah, right now I'm very fond of "We Will Not Disband" from the new album.
Yeah,
Well, you,
that's my
you
favorite, man.
That-
I've been preaching about this song for weeks, man. I love it. I
Cool.
was Yeah, I was playing drums. I was trying to learn that polyrhythmic
Yeah.
pattern on the second verse, and it's
Yes.
kind of a mind blow thing, and it's super awesome. I don't know how you do it while playing guitar, because it's
I fuck
crazy
it
and
up.
singing. Yeah, yeah, I love that song.
That's cool. Yeah,
Um,
it has that good live energy, I think. So
yeah,
it has become a live favorite in the band, I think, for
right.
this
yeah.
tour.
I
Like you
really
never really
hope
know what will work well live, and that song really works well.
I really hope I can watch you guys live eventually. I'm in Brazil. And the
Yeah.
last time you guys were here, I missed you for like 2 days or something. It was depressing. But next time I'll make sure I'll
Next
be there.
time. Yeah.
Yeah, I want to
Uh,
I want to ask you about Adam because Adam
yeah.
wasn't in the band for the first album, correct?
Nope. It's
Yeah,
true.
and from our observation, I think he brings so much to the band in the way that you have songs like 24 Light Years or We Will Not Disband, I Don't Know How We Got Here, which are simpler songs in structure and they
Yeah.
can even sometimes be more ballady, but he makes them so much bigger with his beats. Is that something that he
Yeah.
introduced or you guys talked about? I want to kind of get a little sense of how it went.
Yeah. Like some of the songs are heavily shaped by the drums for sure. Like 24 Light Years. Um, like that was a beat he came up with, and it's just such an important part of like the overall vibe of the song, I think.
Yeah.
Um, and then some of the songs are sort of have a foundation in programmed drums,
Hmm.
um, that that like I might make on the computer, and Adam will refine it and make it his own. So yeah, there are different approaches, but yeah, I totally agree. He's a very creative drummer, and just adds a lot of depth
Yeah.
to the songs, I think.
He's really had some of my favorite drum beats on songs. They really stand out and they make it. I like that. I like when you can take a simple song because, like Dan was saying, sometimes your songs they're not all that tricky,
No,
but underneath them there's all these layers of different things. His drumming, what the keyboardist is doing, what you're playing, the vocal harmonies. You add all that together and it becomes this
yeah,
crazy,
Yeah, a
this
unique
crazy kind
sound.
of song.
Yeah.
that's cool. Yeah, I think like an influence like Porcupine Tree, for example, is shining through in a lot of what we do. Like, or the material might not be super complex, but there's a depth of production in it. And
Hmm.
yeah, I think Gavin Harrison, it's like has some of the same qualities as Adam in creating these nice details for the ear and the overall
Totally,
soundscape.
same kind of
So
thing for
yeah,
sure. Yeah. I do want to get back to talking a little bit more about the new album because like I said, we veered off in different directions here. But when you went into writing this, you said you didn't know how to approach the new record
Yeah.
after the success of the last one, which I totally agree because that album's amazing. But what was the beginning of this album? How did you start, and was there a theme you were going for? Is there a theme throughout the songs when you were writing it?
Well, we didn't have an overall aim of a theme actually. And that's usually how we write. We create individual songs and then afterwards we'll look at them and see if there's a pattern in the lyrics, for example. Um, and yeah, the songwriting for this album was a bit slow to begin with, like for the reasons I talked about earlier. And also because we toured so much for Witness because of COVID, like everything got pushed into the future, and that made it difficult to find the right time to sort of decide, okay, now we'll focus on the new songs.
Right.
Um, I think it's difficult to live in like two universes at the same time. Like you both have your own old album and you have this new one you want to write, and how do you split your brain between those two? Um,
Was
like
there a
while
first
touring,
song? Was there a first song that came about that was like, that's I know now where I want to go with this.
yeah, I think like Paper Wolf created a lot of excitement when we wrote that. Um, Also because it sounds a bit different from what we've done before. Like the guitar work is much more busy,
Right.
and it relies a bit more on energy maybe than what we've done before. Where like usually we go for like choruses that rely a lot on melody, and like there are some choruses on this album that are more about just power and energy. I think also like Break My Line Tongue, for example. Um,
That's a different song.
yeah,
That's
exactly.
the one I think stands out as being very different.
Yeah, exactly. And
Yeah.
so yeah, I think the album has a few of those songs. But yeah, eventually we just like we didn't have a particular vision for the album. We just um, like wanted to write the best songs we could. That became the goal eventually after having done
Hmm.
some experimentation in the beginning, like
Yeah.
with sort of a with an aim of doing something specific that just didn't work out great, and then we just wrote and didn't think too much about what we created, and I think that was the key of for unlocking these songs.
Right.
Awesome. And on the recording process, Asger, how did the collaboration within the band itself change or grow compared to your previous albums? Because in the past, I don't know how much you've collaborated in studio or you had demos ready or how that went. So how is it this time?
Well, it was quite similar to what we've done before. Um, like when we write demos, we all work in our home studios, and we have this server we all upload ideas to,
Hmm.
and then we'll like download those ideas and continue working on them individually, and sometimes meet up in groups and work. Um, yeah, like meet up the whole band and work on those ideas. And yeah, I think we make quite like detailed demos, like just really trying to sort of mirror how the final album will sound, so
Hmm.
that there aren't too many surprises when we go into the studio. And yeah, then we record the drums. Just Adam records to the demo version of the songs, so we're not playing in the studio. Um, and then it's just good old recording layer by layer.
Hmm.
Um,
Same mode.
yeah,
Yeah,
so yeah,
that's cool. You were talking about like on Witness, you experimented with some sound production stuff and stuff that sounds very different and what would like to sound. One example I can think of is the very ending of the album on Inside Your Fur and how you do that panning thing with the distortion and
Yeah,
everything. It's
yeah.
kind of nuts when you're listening on actual headphones.
Cool.
So, what would you say is this moment or something like that on this album? Did you experiment with any new techniques or gear or something like that? Did How was
Uh,
that?
well, I think it was for me. I experimented more with that's just a very like physical thing, I guess. But I experimented more with my voice. Um, so there are more harsh vocals on this album than what we've done
Yeah.
before. Um, and that's something I don't think we would have dared to do on any previous albums. Um,
Yeah.
at least it didn't occur to us to do it, but this time it just felt fresh to go down that path for some of the songs.
And
Yeah,
if it, I guess it happened organically, but for like the growling, the more harsh vocals, you also
yeah,
had a guest on the album for Cannibal.
yeah.
Was that
Yeah.
something you planned for the beginning and you wrote that song for him? How would that go?
Well, no, it wasn't the plan. So I had done some screams on the demo version of that song, and I think we were quite ready to record it actually. But I think it was Nikolai who like began talking about if we should have a guest on that song, and we all agreed on that that would be cool because it could use some more like aggressive screams than what I can create,
Hmm.
and like just a month earlier or something, we were playing in Los Angeles on our US tour, and we met Anders Frieden from In Flames there. Like he came to see our show
Hmm.
together with Bjorn, also from In Flames, and we found out that they were fans of Vola. So that was
Awesome.
very, very, yeah, quite surreal. Like it's been we've been listening a lot too. So amazing to discover they were fans, and that just made it very easy to reach out to Anders when we got home, and yeah, he was totally up for doing the guest vocals.
That
And
sounds
how are you
amazing.
handling his part live?
Well,
Yeah,
there's been different guests I've seen that you've had from time to time. Is it always a guest, or are you doing it?
it's I have done it 3 times I think on this tour. Um, like it hasn't always been possible to find the guest in the
But
city
that's
we're
fun
in.
though. Having different people to
Yeah,
do it, that's really fun.
yeah, we've had so many guests now. It's I can't even remember how many now. But it's very interesting to get a new take on the song every night,
Yeah,
and
Yeah,
for
like to
sure.
see the crowd's reaction.
that's pretty cool.
Hmm.
And yeah, it gives me a break to breathe on stage also. So.
I have to ask you about Glass Mannequin
Yeah,
because to me that's also again it's one of the most unique songs on the record. If not for anything more than the lyrics even, you know. I like what you guys do a lot of times with lyrics and titles because they're unique, they're different, they bring another element to everything. You're not singing about the same old kind of things. Um, but how do you come up with a lyric like that? With I don't want to throw my glass javelin, stuff like where does that come from? What does that even mean?
yeah, yeah. That's a really good question. It's like for me that like lyrics are something that pops up in my head when we work on a demo, and I never know what they will be. But there will always be this first sentence that pops up that will shape the rest of the lyrics for the song. Um, and I think for this song, there wasn't even any like music or anything. It was just the line uh, "worthless, my inner vision is birthless" that popped up in my head, and the melody also. And then I think I sat down with the piano and tried to find some chords for that. Um, and I think to me it's about a person who has feel like he or she, it doesn't matter. I'll just say he has lost his creativity, um, and sort of that loss is affecting his relationship with his partner because it's just his passion that he sees sort of dissolving in front of his eyes, and this loss sort of spills over into the relationship and just makes um, that dissolve also. Uh, um, so to me, the glass mannequin is a metaphor for something valuable like creativity that that can shatter in front of your eyes, and how terrifying that can be. But basically, it should be like an image of anything valuable in your life
That you can easily
that's also
lose.
fragile. Yeah,
Yeah, it's super cool, man. Just
that's awesome.
there's nothing, yeah, nothing like that.
Yeah, yeah, we love it.
Yeah, it's been we play that live also, and it's a nice mellow moment where we can really feel the room we're in, and
So,
yeah, it's
uh,
cool.
so I assume you hide a lot of those like Easter eggs and smaller significances in songs that sometimes they don't get across to some people. I'm curious if you have any moment or deep cut in the album that holds a special significance to you that you think like the fans maybe should pay closer attention to.
That's a good question. Um, I think I that's that's an inspiration I've gotten from Stephen Wilson, that I often try to write stories that are sort of outside myself, because
Hmm.
it just makes anything possible instead of it instead
Being
of being
confined
sort
to
of,
your own, yeah.
yeah, I think that becomes boring to me, at least, and I know that it totally works for other people, and people should do it their own way. Um, but I just love this universe that unfolds when you like enable yourself to write about like other people's lives, and of course they have to contain those stories have to contain feelings that I can recognize myself, or else it will just be like a like yeah an unemotional experience to sing them, and that wouldn't be interesting at all. Um, so yeah, there are these stories scattered around the album. Um, there isn't like a particular one that comes to mind right now, but I'll have to think about that.
But
Um,
that's cool. That's cool to hear. Yeah.
Yeah.
you're going after this tour or next year, early next year, you have a North American tour. You're coming back over here to the States
Yes.
with intervals. Are you, is that going to be a shorter set for you guys in that? Or are you going to have to even bigger challenge figuring out the material? But I mean, are you still going to be playing,
Yeah.
are you still going to be playing some of the new stuff in there?
Yeah, I think we have to cut down a little bit, just because we're not the headliner. Um, but I believe like more or less we'll try to bring the show we're touring Europe with right now. So that tour also. Um, so yeah, lots of new songs, and like a new stage show.
Could still be like maybe like an hour set or something around there.
I can imagine it will. It probably won't be above an hour, but yeah, I hope we can play an hour. That would be cool. But I won't promise anything.
Uh, yeah, listen, we're really like you said, we're big fans of the record. It's our favorite album of the year, or among the favorite albums of the year, and
Wow,
we've
thank you so
been
much.
Yeah.
really looking forward to it since Paper Wolf came out because that came out, really long
Yeah, it's
time ago.
old.
Yeah.
Oh
Old
yeah, I
news.
did have one more question before we let you go
Yeah,
because I know you have to go.
sure. All
Um,
good.
you did a lot of singles and a lot of videos for the record leading up to this, and by the
Yeah.
way, all fantastic videos, like no cheap
Yeah,
AI
super well produced.
video
Yeah.
garbage, which was really cool. What was the
Nice to hear.
thinking? What was the thinking behind that? Kind of laying this out so much like that in advance.
Well, like Paper Wolf was definitely like meant to sort of to show that we're still alive and
Right.
and doing and doing music. Just because, yeah, like I talked about, that everything got pushed a bit by COVID. It was nice to release something quite early on, even though the full album wasn't ready at that point. Just to make a shout into the world and telling people that we were still here.
Yeah.
So that's why that came out so early. Um, um, but then I think it's just a nice period to have, like these build up months before an album come out, because you can really create a tension. Um, like the cards are on your side, and you can decide on how much you want to show the audience. And
Yeah.
like when the album is out, there are no more secrets, and the tension has the tension is lost.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, so it's just a fun period to like to give up some breadcrumbs here and there, and
It was tough. It
like
was tough
yeah,
because you don't want to. You're back as a fan. You're almost like, do I want to hear all these? Do I want to wait for the
yeah,
record?
Yeah.
yeah.
It's sort of a tough one. Dan, you got any final thoughts here?
No, man, I would just say, Asger, thanks for the music. Your band is awesome. It quickly became one of my favorites. You guys do great music. I hope you'll never disband. You
Well,
know,
they said they won't, so
yeah, so I'll just believe you, you
We
know.
won't. We won't.
Yeah, awesome. So yeah, man, keep rocking. You guys are awesome. I'm a big
Thank you
fan.
so much.
Hopefully I can see you guys live soon and we can meet and it will be
Would
a
be
great
great.
honor. So yeah, thanks for the music. If you listen or watch any of our videos where we talk about Vola or react to one of your songs, you always see high praise, and that's, in my opinion, well deserved. You guys are freaking awesome. So
Wow,
thanks
Yeah.
for
thank
the
you so
If
music.
much.
anybody, if you've watched this interview, hopefully you're a fan of the band. But if you're just tuning in now, Friend of a Phantom is out now. The band's on tour in Europe, North America next year. Yeah, these guys are awesome. So pay attention to Vola and go check them out. Thanks again, man. Have a great rest of your weekend. We'll talk to you soon.
Yeah, thank you so much. Thanks for the
Yeah,
kind words. It means a lot.
All right, buddy. We'll talk to you later.
awesome.
All right.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.
Hey.
Bye, guys.
Hey, thanks for checking out the podcast. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, wherever you get your podcasts. Follow us on all our socials and progreport.com, and we'll see you all again real soon. Thanks.